Every time I declare them dead, and I don't know, look, I know you're dug in here. They won't go away. They've now won 2 straight. Maybe Brian Bayo's best performance last night, and that wasn't the biggest surprise out of Fenway. I will tell you what it was in a moment. But they're 3 back now. The Twins are reeling. Like you said last week, that's the team you got to keep an eye on now in terms of the wild card race. Twins, I think, have lost 3 in a row. Red Sox now won 2 in a row. Only 3 back. 3-0 win over the Blue Jays last night. What do you make of this? And have you wavered at all? Are you still calling them dead?
No, I still think they're dead. I will say though, the last 2 nights I've seen fight from the Red Sox. And Mazz, you and I talked about this on Tuesday night. You know, where had the fight gone with this team? Their resiliency had been their calling card all year long. I've seen a little of that. I mean, I've said, you know, as long as I've been calling them dead, Jim, I've also said I don't expect them to collapse. And that's what I was so shaken by on Tuesday, because it really did look like they were starting to collapse. I don't see that happening with this team. I think they're resilient. I think they fight. I think they'll ultimately miss the playoffs because I don't think they have enough pitching. But what I saw last night from Brayan Bello, I will not discredit one bit. That was outstanding. That was probably the best outing of his career, maybe. He is so
I don't think there's a maybe, but go ahead.
He is so tantalizing, Mazz, and I would agree with that. That was the best I've ever seen from Brayan Bello. And it sounds so silly. I saw him warming up last night. His body language was different. You know, for Bello, it's mostly above the shoulders.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
And his body language, he just looked calm, cool, collected. He looked locked in, and you saw that all night long. He's also throwing the fastball more. He's not doing the Andrew Bailey thing, and there's some stats supporting that going back to July 1st, which is when he started to work the fastball in a little bit more. Bello has an ERA under 4. He's been a much better pitcher. He is so tantalizing. He really is, and that's what makes it so frustrating what I saw from him at the beginning of the year. It's like, guy, can you just figure it out? You've got all this talent. I don't know if you're an ace, but you're probably a number 2, and there's nothing to sneeze at when it comes to that. Like, there is so much talent there. Maybe they'd be in the playoffs if Brayan Bello had pitched like this all year long. Maybe they'd be there if Andrew Bailey hadn't messed around with him and if Bello could actually handle some adversity.
Yeah, and I think he's part of the problem. Again, I don't trust him because, like you said, it's his problems are from shoulders up. It's in his head. When things don't go his way, he tends to collapse. And so if he was more consistent, yeah, they would be in the playoff picture. But he was phenomenal last night.
He's a key guy for lots of reasons. One, he missed a little time. He got a little breather in there. He's talented. And not to say I told you so, but if he gets hot, he can, win some games for you. And he's getting hot, or he's gotten hot. So the big thing McCarthy said about the fastball, thank you. It's not that complicated.
Like Joe Murray says, gas, not the ass.
Did you guys see the first inning last night?
Yeah.
The strikeout of Vladimir Guerrero to end the inning? 97 basically on the outer quarter of the plate.
That was a beautiful thing.
Okay, it wasn't right on the edge, and technically it's a 2-seam fastball. But you know what? With Bello, I don't care. Throw it 97. Don't give me this spinorama bullcrap. He aired one out and caught Guerrero sleeping and blew it right by him. Beautiful. Can I get more of that, please? It's about mentality, too. Pitch aggressively. But I still want to know what the biggest thing to come out of Fenway was, Murray.
It wasn't Brayan Bello's start, which should have been a complete game, by the way, which I was clamoring for. In person. That's right.
What?
For the first time in 8 years.
This is breaking sports news.
For the first time in 8 years, I went to a Red Sox game.
Is that seriously how long it's been?
It's been 8 years, yeah. And it's mostly because I hate ownership, and I hated what the product had become. These 4-hour effing games. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm too big a guy in those uncomfortable ass seats. But last night, it came down to this. Shout out to my friend Timmy P. There was too much juice to say no. Front row, literally right behind the ball boy. Club access, free parking. The game was 2 hours, 4 minutes. The best pitching performance maybe for the whole team the whole season, definitely for Bello. Beers were icy cold, middle lights going down. The only negative, the game went so fast and I was having such a time, I forgot to eat. I didn't even get a Fenway Frank. Honest to God, the game was over just like that. And I forgot to eat. That was the only problem. Otherwise, that was awesome last night. Great product. And again, I've been into them this year, so it wasn't that hard of a sell. But for the first time in 8 years. And I've been for concerts. I went to the last Winter Classic. But I've kind of refused to go. Big pain in the ass. I hate ownership. I hate what the game has become. I've been down on them. So I'm like, why the hell am I going to go? But 8 years went by quick. But with all that on my plate offered to me, I was like, yeah, what the hell, I'll go. Perfect night, great weather, 2 hours, 4 minutes, in, out again. The only negative, I forgot to have a dog.
Well, so there you go. That's how you can reconcile your appearance here with ownership. You didn't eat their food.
Yeah, right. I didn't spend that much money. That's
Murray's
what it
on a
came down
hunger
to.
strike at Fenway.
But no, I said too, I tweeted it because Matt, like they were so outclassed by Arizona this past weekend that I was like, and I went into that series like, show me something. Take 2 or 3 from this because that Diamondbacks team's legit. They're the reigning NLCS champion. They've been red hot. They've probably been the hottest team in baseball over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. They got throttled by them this week. And I came out of that. I tweeted to him like, I'm with Matt. Like it's done. It's over. And they keep getting off the mat time and time again.
Which is a really good sign for next year. Right? It's a really good sign because you're trying to build something going forward here. I still think they're probably too far out. I still don't think, they have the ammunition to make this happen. Mazz, you said, Bayo's a key guy. If he gives them something, it's going to be different. The problem is Brian Bayo going to consistently give them something? I'm just not sold on that. This is what happens when you rely on young players. They're showing me something. They're resilient. They know how to fight. That makes me feel good about this group moving forward. But also when you rely on young players, and let's use Brian Bayo as the test case here, you're going to lose a lot of games because that guy hasn't figured it out yet, right? The talent's there, but he hasn't figured it out yet. It's too much to put together consistently, ultimately, to make the playoffs. I've seen them take a step, but I don't think they have enough pitching, and I do think they're relying on too many young guys. Let Brian Bayo be a lesson to you. There's talent there. It's tantalizing, but you need to surround guys like that with legitimate, bona fide, veteran stars. Brian Bayo was your opening day pitcher this year, right? I'm going back to Seattle. He was.
Yeah.
What if he were your number 3 pitcher coming into the year? What if he's your number 4 pitcher going into next year and you add 2 legitimate, more front end of the rotation guys? Don't you feel so much better about the team? You can get excited about these young players all you want, but this dumbass organization keeps putting too much stock into all these young guys, and they're expecting them to be the saviors of the franchise. Brian Bayo never should have been your opening day starter this year. That's not a legitimate, we're trying to make the playoffs type of thing. What happens if Meyer, Anthony, and Teal struggle when they get up here? What happens? Are we just going to have to wait 3 years for them to figure it out? You cannot consistently rely on too many young guys. You got to mix it up. Mazz, you've always said it. The best baseball teams are a mix between veteran players and young players. They're too reliant on guys like Brian Bayo, as exciting as they are, and that's ultimately what you'll get. Something like last night, but you'll get months like April through June where that might cost you a trip to the playoffs.
This is why they needed to go out and get veteran pitching last offseason.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about Lucas Giolito. I'm talking about, and I didn't want Snell, but let's just play the game. Snell, Montgomery, Yamamoto. Go get yourself a legitimate front end guy. Take the
Imanaga.
Right, Imanaga's another one. Take the pressure off these young guys. They're going to do the same to these positional players.
Of course they are.
They're going to put them in a spot where there's all this pressure on them.
Expectations are going to be too high. Right
It's
from the get-go.
ridiculous. You got to let them make their mistakes and don't put pressure on them. Let them hit the bottom half of the lineup when they get here. And then when they're ready, you put them in the middle of the lineup. So there's a way to do it. I think that, had they gone out and gotten a pitcher, a legit front-end pitcher during the offseason, they'd probably be in the playoffs right now.
Yep.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.